It's Sunday night, July the 7th, and you know what that means. Ringside Heat is on the air on News Talk Sauga 960, your favorite podcatcher, and also on July the 8th, Monday, on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lex Tan, host and producer of the show, and we are coming off an amazing Money in the Bank WWE weekend that we've celebrated here in Toronto with some big things being announced over at the pay-per-view, and also a big weekend for the show as well, because we were able to be on site for WWE media events, and as well up in the press spots at the Foster Hewitt Gondola. So without further ado, let's get into who is on the panel here today. First of all, just going in order, going clockwise order on my screen. To my right, we've got our AEW expert and guest WWE commentator over here. Thank you so much to Colin Dodge at Risen 72. He's the responsible one of the group. Colin, welcome to the show again.
I was given the reins, and
yes,
this is going to be a mistake by all of you. I'm taking over slowly, just so you know.
You've been talking with Jose lately.
When he takes over from you, I'm going to usurp him. It's going to be it's going to be red wedding in here. It's going to be great.
And we also, and speaking of which, we've got the guy who wants to, who's going to usurp me, basically, as Colin was said, at Taboada 93, director of digital content, Jose Taboada. Jose, how you doing?
I mean, I should take over at this rate. Doing great. Great job all around. Phenomenal weekend for everybody. Phenomenal weekend for WWE. I know there's a lot of the nitty gritty to talk about with Money in the Bank, but just all in all, what a fun, successful weekend for us here. So good job, gentlemen. And a lot of fun this weekend. There's a lot to talk about, but a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And just under Jose's screen over here is first timer here on the show, but he's been with us as our learning tree. We're going to call him the learning tree over here. Neil MacCarthy. Neil, I've always said this to you and to the rest of them. You've known more about media. You've forgotten more about media than I've learned so far in my lifetime. So it was a pleasure. It was an amazing experience to be able to learn from you and to learn under you in the learning tree. Neil MacCarthy, how you doing, sir?
Good. Great to be with you guys in person. Long-time listener, first-time caller, right? That's what they always say. But no, it was great weekend. A lot of fun. Just great to see everything unfold and look forward to chatting about it with you guys. But thanks for having me.
Awesome. And right beside Neil MacCarthy, just under myself, is our the writer of our theme music, versions 1 and 2. And he is an educator. He is our he's been just a trooper with the media stuff as well all week, as all of these guys are, Colin and Jose and Chico, who will be in a second, but especially here, John Dawson, at John Dawson Music, who just released his first album, Outlier.
July 19th.
July 19th is the official release date of his album Outlier. And Johnny, welcome to the show again, and thank you so much for everything you've done so far this weekend.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, it was. Listen, man, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about this. I know we got to kind of unpack it, but it was wild. It was a great experience. I'd definitely do that again. We stayed down. We took the family down for a little staycation. So I was just kind of all about the event all weekend. We'd just hang out, and it was going back and forth to things we had to do. It was, it was a good busy. I enjoyed it very much. And the fact I got to hang with Neil was just brilliant, because we had a blast up there on the gondola. Yeah, It's good times.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. And entering into the stage right now, 6-man over here. But of course, not last but not the least to introduce over here is our wrestling memorabilia collector expert at Coca Collects, Chico Nuguid, who as well went to the Roxanne Perez Trick Williams signing over in Scarborough. Chico, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. My audio might not be good, but I'm here. Can you hear me?
That was a full-on TV broadcast
Am I
delay
frozen?
response.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
No, you're not. You're not. No, you're not frozen. No, you're This is gonna be fun, folks.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Well, thanks for coming.
Whoa.
Chico.
There you go. Alrighty then, because we only have Neil here for the next for this first segment over here. Let's get into it. The experiences this weekend, WWE Money in the Bank weekend. Starting from when I went over to Lee's Palace for Remix Rumble Wrestling Nightclub, so super fun. We had the WWE Media Junket on the Friday at MLSC Launchpad. Thank you to WWE for scoring us those credentials. We also had SmackDown. We had Money in the Bank last night, which was an amazing experience. I know for all of you guys who were able to go and were able to watch it and commentate on it and everything. But so let's open the floor. Come on, guys. Tell me about your experiences. Tell the listener about what you had this weekend.
I actually want to start off with a question, and this is towards Neil, because Neil, you've done a lot of different media experiences. John was sitting me down for 15 to 20 minutes, just going through your full resume, essentially, about all the stuff you've done, and it's been incredible. That being said, with all the events that you covered in the past, such as I believe I heard you've done a couple of World Youth Days, if I'm not mistaken, as well. You're a director of communications and in many different aspects. Was there anything unique and different that stood out about covering a WWE event compared to what you normally cover or normally run on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, great question. You know what? Super impressed with the approach this weekend. I mean, we see it, most fans, right, on TV or you're watching online, and that's one small part of the experience. To see the bit of the behind the scenes, behind the curtain is just incredible, and really well organized this weekend. The Friday media event I thought was excellent. You know, they good connection with the kids, and sometimes on those things you'll see talent come in and they'll be there to have a photo op for 5 minutes and then they're gone. But they were present. They hung around. They spent time with the kids. It was very authentic. They made a great financial donation down to the MLC Launchpad to $20,000, which is significant for that group. But then when it came to spending time with the media, those four wrestlers that were there were probably there for about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is like, I've never seen that kind of access. Usually they'll bring, the main people in and they'll say you got 5-10 minutes and then you're in and out. But they were so generous with their time. Lex, John got to talk to, a number of the different wrestlers there, and they weren't rushing people. They weren't dismissive if you were a bigger outlet or a smaller outlet. They just spent the time. And, I was talking to John about it afterwards with Lex too, that's building relationships with podcasters, social media influencers. And that is something that probably 10 years ago they wouldn't be doing. But now they realize that's the voice of wrestling, online, social media, those influencers. And so kudos to them for taking the time and giving the access to folks like Ringside Heat and others who, I think in the end, because you're given good access and you're given time, you're going to be more forgiving. If there's things that you're going to be critical about, you're going to think twice before being as critical. So I give them an A+ on the relationship with the media and the community outreach for sure.
Yeah, that was an angle, Neil, that you brought up that I'd never considered. But when you think about the kind of trolling that happens out there, they're playing really smart ball here by building that positive experience with people who are in that, and that's the best way to combat that. You don't go at it online. You actually just, kill them with kindness. And that's, to me, exactly what they did. I was amazed at how much time they took. I also loved watching how in character these guys could remain and slip out of it. Chelsea seemed to do it more than any. She'd be just kind of herself a couple times. And I had a good off-camera chat with her where it was just her. But then you could see her just go right back into character. And LA Knight was just cutting promos on everybody. It was just like, it didn't matter who you were. He was just carving you. Yeah, he took Lex down. He cut a promo for my kids. It was great. Yeah, I got a video of him shouting out and cutting a promo to JP and Luke.
That's right.
That's great.
Beautiful.
You did.
That's really good.
Yeah, Tiffany Stratton was there as well as Trick Williams, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get to them in time. But they stayed the whole time. They were very, very generous with their time as well. And there was actually a lot of leeway they gave to the podcasters and the small market media. I remember one of them stayed a little bit longer than they should have stayed, but
Yes.
either way, I mean, like,
Forcing the rest of us into a scrum. Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So exactly. So there could be a little bit better organization with that, but at least thanks to Neil and his coaching, he said, you know what, 3 questions, 3 minutes, in, out, handshake, and go. And that was, and I think that made us look very, very professional. And I think.
Yeah, Neil, thank you, man. The coaching for the scrums, everything. It was just a blast. I will say the piece that nobody would have caught is, and Neil was there when we came in. We got to spend some time with Chris Van Vliet, which was great. Super nice guy. But he was interviewing up in the top. He had a little room, and I just saw the back of Cody's head. So we're sitting there waiting for the event to start, and Cody gets up and looks out the window. And I catch his eye, and I had a little hat on. I tip my hat and wave to him. He waves back at me, then holds up his belt and points to me in the belt. And I was like, I think Cody just challenged me. So,
you better accept, yeah.
So trying to get the cardio up, get ready for
Yeah, you might need to cash in a briefcase or something, John.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
Did you guys end up seeing Kevin Owens? Because I remember Kevin Owens was listed there, but
no.
Unfortunately, no, he wasn't there.
I think as we found out on SmackDown, his mom had health issues, so I think he was out. Yeah,
and kudos to him for even being on the card with that, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, they worked. He mentioned it in ring and talked about it, and the fans, I think, I mean, after his match, they were chanting, Kevin's mom,
Mama Owens,
Mama
Owens.
So it was. I mean, that's not easy to go through all that, but like he said, that's where she would want him to be. But must have been a tough week for him.
Yeah. So it would have been great to see him, but Tiffany came in, was amazing. For me,
Carmelo Hayes too. He did nice.
Carmelo was a super nice guy. Yeah, we only had a couple seconds with him, but he was there. Same thing. For me, the star of the weekend though is the breakout star is Chelsea. Like I'm just absolutely sold on her and everything she's doing. And she backed it up with taking one of the craziest bumps, I think, in Money in the Bank history.
Favorite bump of the night. Bump of the night.
I would challenge the bump of the night because Zoe was insane as well. It's the two dark horses of the match for sure in terms of like willing to take the brutality. But yes, Chelsea was a star.
And the crowd wanted her to win.
Big time.
Okay, there's the Canadian thing, but like there was definitely a push for her. And I mean, there was a moment, I think, towards the end, you're like, okay, is this going to happen? Are they going to do this in Toronto? This would be fantastic. But instead, she ends up taking the monster bump there. But she got a lot of, I mean, she was everywhere this weekend. They put her out there in the school, with the kids. She was up on the CN Tower. She was doing tons of media, and they got me. I thought, okay, they're going to give it to her in Toronto.
Same. I was convinced.
I thought so too, and a little disappointed that she didn't win here in Toronto. But I think that also is just going to be able to grow from here on in because of the goodwill she's making in real life, as well as taking that huge bump as well. So, kudos to our Canadian girl, pride of Victoria, BC, Chelsea Green. And apparently,
how do you say her name again?
Oh, sorry, Chelsea Green.
Even Mike Rome had a go at how Samantha Irvin says it. He said it that way, I think, on SmackDown.
Yeah, he did.
I was a little surprised that he tried. I think he was laughing it up with the ring bell person afterwards. He was like, "I tried. I did my best." Yeah, it's Samantha. It's a Samantha thing though, but yeah.
I think the only Canadian winner was Sami Zayn, I believe, who was on the card.
Mm-hmm. Which I was half surprised at, to be honest with you. I know we're just generally glossing over stuff. I'm half surprised that they did not give it to upstart Braun Breaker, one of the many Brauns that we know. But
so many.
I mean, at the same time, I can see them continuing with Sammy and that being the right way to go. They could have gone either way for that one, to be honest.
My take, and this is not my take, it's a friend's take. It's why would you quickly end the reign of somebody who dethroned the best Intercontinental champion of all time? And that's the issue moving forward. And that's a discussion I think we can go deeper in the next segment. But you unfortunately have to find a balance between the person who wins that title, and honoring the legacy before, because otherwise, if you lose it right away, I think Sammy has to hold until at least the end of the year, because a lot of people are going to be so cynical about that defense and that title capture at WrestleMania that a lot of people are going to be wonder is if Sam's going to be a legitimate champion. But again, that's a conversation for deeper context. But that's why I went with Sammy, and making the prediction with friends. I'm like, that's a really, really strong point. So I'm okay with the decision.
Yeah, smart booking there, I think.
Yeah. Yep. And you know what, we can get into more about the booking and the stuff we saw on the show, but I do want to commend each and every one of you here in this stream right now, and also others that have been helping us out this whole weekend, not just WWE, but also members of the media community all around Toronto here. You guys, this was a total team effort that we put together, from Colin and Chico on the stream, watching from home, from Jose just being a trooper with his social media and keeping us active on the socials, as well as John and Neil doing the same thing at the arena as well. And we also we want to thank Vinny Salvador, who was actually there representing another outlet, but was there and offered actually to help us out with filming and being with the wrestlers as well. Also want to thank Azim Huck, who is a friend of our show as well, for helping us provide credentials as well, or for giving us sharing credentials with us as well. So all of those things, all of those elements put together is just an amazing thing that the wrestling community, not the internet wrestling community, but the actual wrestling community, really does help with everything that's going on. And we learn from each other, as Neil, you mentioned as well, that when we're always there, we learn from each other, we play things by ear. And I couldn't be more thankful, and I couldn't be more humbled and honored to have all of you guys share this experience of Money in the Bank here in WWE Toronto all together. It is an insanely honorable thing, and I feel so very blessed to have all of you as part of the show and part of my life as well.
Cry.
Yeah.
Cue the tears. Cue the tears.
I'm gonna cry for Cena instead.
Yes.
Jose.
I already did.
We'll go there. Yeah.
Oh, I already did. Unfortunately, Neil does have other things to do for the rest of the day, and so I just want to thank you again for being our coach, being our learning tree, and being and just being the awesome person that you are. And we would love to have you as part of our show again. And you're forever Ringside Heat. And thank you so much for all of everything you did.
Thanks, Lex. Thanks, you guys. You gotta have a little taste, right? You can't stay for the whole thing, right? You gotta just get a little taste of the Big Mac here, and then maybe I'll come back another time.
The Big Mac.
Big Mac.
There you go.
All right, boys. You have
Enjoy the day. Thanks, Neil.
It was a blast.
No problem, buddy.
Neil.
Take care.
Yeah, thank you. Ringside Heat on Newstalk Sauga 960 AM on YouTube, as well as on your favorite catcher. We are going to take a break here, and when we come back, we'll get into the card, and we'll get into what's going to happen going into WrestleMania 41 and all those things in between. And we'll be back after these break. Welcome back to Ringside Heat on Newstalk Sauga 960 AM, and as well your favorite podcatcher, and on YouTube, Lex Tan alongside Colin, Jose, John, and Chico, 5 of the 6 ring crew here. And we want to thank Neil MacCarthy for being on the show earlier in the first segment. I want to thank Vinny Salvador. I want to thank Azim Huck. We want to thank Chris Van Vliet. We want to thank WWE for giving us for letting us be amongst them and being a part of this entire WWE Money in the Bank weekend as well. So as you heard in the first segment, a lot of great experiences from each and every one of these fine gentlemen as well. So let's talk about the card, though, and particularly the big announcement we're going to lead off with is obviously the surprise appearance of one John Cena and his announcement that this is going to be his victory lap, and he will have his final match at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas.
No.
Okay.
That was the
All right.
assumption, but he did.
All right, part two again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to Ringside Heat on Newstalk Sauga 960, your favorite podcatcher as well on YouTube. Lex Tan alongside Colin, Jose, John, and Chico. And we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the card. Let's just thank again Neil MacCarthy, our learning tree. Want to thank Azim Huck. We want to thank Vinny Salvador. I also shout out to Jimmy Corderas, who we talked to and hung out with for a little bit and talked some good wrestling and the wrestling community as well. So thank you to all, and thank you to WWE for having us as part of the WWE Money in the Bank festivities all weekend here in Toronto. We're going to get into the conversation right now about the big announcement, the surprise announcement by one John Cena saying that this is going to be his victory lap. Now, if you just were going by what he said on the broadcast, it sounded like at first, and I was mistaken as well, that WrestleMania 2025 41 in Las Vegas would be his last match. However, it was clarified later on that he's going until the end of 2025, and so let's start the conversation right there about that.
Emotional, to say the least. I was just telling these guys in attendance, and I know John can back me up here. We don't see the camera, the TV broadcast camera in the middle of an entrance. It's always the entrance graphics across all screens across the arena. So I didn't see that the towel said the last time is now. I go into my group chat. I go into I see Chico and Colin react to it. They're all realizing what's about to happen. We don't. So we're all just stunned. And again, I feel like I have to buy a lottery ticket because, 2 surprise John Cena appearances in person, that's really tough in today's day and age.
Mm-hmm.
So to hear the words that I'm officially retiring from the WWE, it got me because I've seen this guy. We all have. I've seen this guy from the literal beginnings of his career. I didn't see a Shawn Michaels in his beginning of his career, a Bret Hart, an Undertaker. No. John Cena was that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that the sun will set, it's even now I'm starting to get a little choked up. It's insane. It's and you knew that, even though you knew he was hinting retirement for the last few years now, it feels like across different interviews, you can't believe it. And eventually, the quote unquote the last time had to happen, and it looks like it is now. So emotional, yet happy that this was the era that I got to see, that I got to witness, a quote unquote born in the right timeline, if you want to say. Just phenomenal. And for a guy who essentially went through hell and getting booed and going through like a really a rough patch of WWE in the 2010s and kind of sticking it out, the whole Super Cena thing, and the fact that he went from getting booed nonstop to get off my screen to, oh damn, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Just the love and admiration is real. So hats off to him. It's surreal. I do wish that WrestleMania 41 was instead the proper sunset, because it is WrestleMania. I don't know what more you can go further into 2025, but it's going to be a special and emotional ride, and hopefully that there is another stop here in Toronto to see him for the, I guess, quote unquote last time. But a lot of emotions.
Cool.
Yeah, well, I'll start off by saying that he just effectively sold a year's worth of tickets. He just boosted business. You will not want to miss virtually anything for a calendar year, and that's hard to achieve in one promo. But John Cena did it. I mean, for a guy that supposedly can't be seen, we really saw a lot of great things from him in that one promo. And man, yeah, like Jose was saying, I could feel, I'm getting goosebumps again right now. The emotion burst through, even if Colin and I weren't in the arena with you guys. like Jose said, there were plenty of things that spoke to you and sort of went beyond the TV and beyond the screen, your monitor. The last time is now immediately caught my eye on the towel, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I thought he
a
was
minute.
going to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was going to retire
Mhm.
in Toronto, like
Mhm.
completely. That's
Mhm.
the one thing. And then he spoke about coming back to Toronto to kick some butt, and he was dressed to compete. So I got confused, and I thought he was calling out someone in the back immediately. Of course, I was wrong with that too. Like a little bit of 50-50 in the way he said a few things. But of course, all was clear by the time the end of his very lengthy post-show press conference segment was done. And just, again, hats off to the man, one of the GOATs. And I can't wait to see where this ride's going to take us. I can't believe he's previewing an entire year's worth of a victory lap. Well, roughly. He said about 30-ish dates is what he said, to be a
30 to
little more
40.
precise.
30 to
30 to
40,
40, yeah. So I
Which
can't
is
wait.
a
And
lot.
yes, yeah,
That's
and
a
he did
lot.
say say he's coming back to Toronto. So there will be at least one more chance for us to maybe be there in person.
Yeah.
Those tickets are going to be such hot sellers.
I mean,
Mhm.
if WrestleMania already hasn't, WrestleMania tickets hadn't even gone on pre-sale, and they already feel like they're inflated.
Yeah.
It's insane. Now, the one question I want to put out to everybody, because this is already a discussion, is already with a lot of the people in the community on all over the internet. 17 or no?
I was
You
just
guys know what I
thinking
mean by that, and you guys know what I mean by
I
that.
was just thinking. I don't see why not.
I
Yeah,
kind
give
of
it to
hope.
him.
I kind of hope so.
Oh yeah, the 17th world title reign. Just to
Yeah.
clarify for those like me who took a
Mhm.
second,
I
I
feel
would
like
say
that was
give
up.
it to John. Give it to
I
John
think he
Cena.
deserves it.
He needs it. Sorry, not needs. He deserves. Yes, he has earned
Deserves
it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on board. Obviously, I think you can just give him the priest title at some point in time. But yes,
Sure.
I would hope that it's 17, and I'm kind of hoping that his last match is a win, because I know he's been putting over
Sure.
a lot of people, but
Yeah.
the man deserves to go out on top instead of on his back.
I don't think
Getting
anybody'd
goosebumps
be
just
upset by
hearing
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Sorry?
I'm just getting goosebumps. Just
I'm trying
with Jose saying that.
I'm trying to keep myself composed. Like, I was literally tearing up in the seats. Like, all the
Yeah.
jokes about, oh, Cena's gonna make grown men cry. Yeah, I was one of them. Literally was one of them in the sense. It wasn't a full on like waterfall, but and Lex was saying that as well. He was telling us as well that he got emotional because you can't believe that the end is coming, and you're like, wow, I'm really hearing this, and in Toronto of all places. Like,
Yeah.
you
And
could
it's
have picked
the-
any other city.
And the joke that I was saying, and it's maybe a little bit, half joke, half real. It's the last bastion of my youth because Cena. I started following WWE and wrestling really, around the time that Cena debuted and said and told Kurt Angle he had ruthless aggression. And my gosh, 23 years later, he proved it. He proved it beyond the shadow of a doubt that like all the hardships, and I'm tearing up myself because his story speaks to me very, very much. That through all the hardships, he was able to live the dream, and he was able to be successful, and he's and arguably the most successful professional wrestler of a generation. And it's going to be tough to see him go because that means I'm not young anymore. Neither is he.
I'm going to add too that it's interesting how his character name and developmental ended up being so apropos because essentially he's become the prototype for how to be a great sports entertainer.
Yes.
I'm gonna go a bit of a different route, so maybe sound like a bit of a typical Gen Xer here, but I'm not very emotional about it. I've been through so many of these.
Yeah.
That the cynicism kicks in where I'm like, yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like,
Woo!
yeah, exactly. He'll probably pull the curtain on the official run. But this is WWE. You don't think there's going to be a moment down the road where that hits and he just even comes out to cut a promo? Like,
yeah, I'm sure that'll happen. It'll be his last match in December 2025. But yeah, he'll pop up every now and again.
Full on match. would be the last one, though. I think.
Yeah, full on match at the end of 2020.
Yeah,
Unless Saudi calls.
that's the kicker.
Yeah.
I think I think as well. I feel like the reason why this is so impactful because again, I think obviously it's this generation's quote unquote Hogan and and I think because it feels like because he's also like in such good shape that it also feels like he can keep going anyway and he's opted not to do the full run and I think he's also somebody that didn't want to kind of just quietly go off in the distance without any like and he deserves a proper send off as well. I think we don't really get those too big of like retirement runs like this in our history. Hogan didn't even get one like that, like what we're about to see.
No.
Right. So I think the fact that it's the time to it's WWE giving us that opportunity to give like a proper send off when I guess you're admired and respected. It goes along. I think it goes a long way, and I think it's warranted. I think, which is why I think everybody's going to be emotional. I think going into this victory lap. 2025 is going to be really interesting.
Undertaker got me a little bit more only because. And I know this isn't even really what we're talking about, but
no.
When he then pulled the curtain back and Mark Calloway was everywhere, that almost made it worse. I was like, I loved Undertaker being this impenetrable character of like this that represented. So I grieved for the Undertaker more because of it was so emphatic that once he just pulled it back and he was there, I'm like, oh my God. Like it was
really
such
over.
a shift. Yeah, it was really over. But on the other side, and I did feel this with Taker, but with Cena, there's something to celebrate. And you guys know this. I'm not trying to say you don't, but he made it. He did it. He got out okay. Like
He did.
Holy good job, kid. Yeah, like good job, buddy. Like you stayed the course and rewriting the rule book in a lot of ways. And he seems to have come out on the winning end of this one. And we've seen what wrestling can do, like any art form, like any performing art. It can bury as much as it puts over, right? Maybe more. So I think the beauty of Cena is beyond the saying goodbye is that good job, buddy. Holy,
He's a prime example. Sorry, Lex. It's a prime example of what somebody should be like. I think Chico said that. Somebody said it. Yeah,
and that's and
yeah.
Yes, and to bounce off of that, I remember something that you said to me years ago, John, before we even started the show. It was actually our very first demo, basically, that we did. You, me, and Colin, and Chico, and our friend Vince, I believe. I believe you mentioned something about how Cena helped you with your kids because they really wanted to see John Cena and they wanted to watch Raw because of John Cena, and you said it's like, yeah, you know what? It's all good. You can watch John Cena. You can watch wrestling. Got to do your homework first. You got to go. You got to eat your vegetables. You got to take your showers, whatever like that, and then we can watch John Cena together. And I see the way that how awesome your kids are. And I was like, wow, looks like I'm sure that a lot of dads out there and moms out there may have a similar experience to you in that sort of way.
He was, thank God, bringing my kids. I'm so glad I didn't have to raise kids in the Attitude Era.
That's very fair. It's a very, very fair point.
Like I can't thank him enough for making it a safe option. It's just like, yeah, man, sure they're beating each other up, but we know the drill. We know they're careful, but it was just so much, that it's it might have been Jimmy Corderas on one of his posts just said, imagine having to follow the Attitude Era. No, it was JBL, I think, who said this. Follow the Attitude Era and move it into PG, and you start to get a picture of the massive burden placed on Cena for such a massive course correction, that he had to carry the company into completely redefining itself and
it had to.
And make it look like and make it work. and make sure it didn't fail. And what did he do? He went out and he got the kids. Like, yeah, there were a lot of noses at a joint there in the older ups, all the IWCs. The Cena hate was real. But he did what he was supposed to do. The mantle was put on his back to reinvent this company and bring it into a new era, and he did it exactly as you should have done it. He became Superman. He became Superman to a generation of kids who now themselves, if not already, will be moving into being parents, and they get to share that. I can share Stone Cold, which sorry, but,
no, it's not wrong. I think John's nailed it, and I think one of the biggest takeaways in doing that as well, I think what also worked, and I feel like if it hasn't been put to rest, I think it can now. The lack of the heel turn in the middle of all that paid off, because a lot of people
he was asked about that at the post show again.
Like, what did he say?
Is this run? I can tell you, is this run going to feature something edgy and a little bit of a heel turn? He said he answered it very gracefully and basically said, we're past that now. Like, I'm just going to let the story or the moment dictate what happens. You'll see the emotion on my face. You'll see the emotion that's like part of that moment or that storyline, whatever it is, whatever stories they decide to tell. And so that's just the way he addressed it. It's kind of like we're beyond face and heel dynamics for him.
For sure. Yeah.
He knows it, and that's the way it's gonna be for the rest of it.
He's transcended that. Now, the 30-40 dates thing, what I find fascinating about that is that's almost once a week through 2025, right?
Yep, almost.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
Now, and that doesn't include any of the build-up and probably promo stuff he's got to do. So I'm kind of wondering if Cena was just like, 2025, all of his obligations, he's just paused and going, I'm just going full in,
which is
one more time.
Gracious.
Which is crazy. Well, he's probably going to walk away with a pretty good payday at the end of this, but
sure,
but it sounds to me like that's what he might be doing. If he's saying 30-40 dates, and that's aside from any of the probably build up and promo work he's got to do, it sounds to me like he's basically coming back full time for a year.
Sounds like
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
obviously no house shows, but whatever,
which is fine. But I mean, I feel like even today, right? I mean, like, sometimes like the Raw and SmackDown superstars have double duty, have to go on have to go double. Like, for example, like the Raw superstars showing up on SmackDown to promote Money in the Bank, and then they don't probably show up every week anyway. So I feel like that's what the current timeline for a superstar is in today's day and age, 30 to 40 dates, because they're not always gonna be there, right? Again, I know they have more house shows, but
that's just gonna say, you take away house shows, and that's precisely what a full-time schedule looks like. It's TVs and PLEs.
I bet he does Raw and SmackDown a couple of weeks, takes a couple of weeks off here and there, but it's like I said, it's going to be one interesting ride.
So here's a lesson, kids, because I say this every time. I remember doing this with Jericho. I remember doing it anytime these guys would come back. I would put myself into a position where I was like, do not take this for granted. Remember what you're seeing. I highly suggest everybody for the next year, for 2025 or whatever it's going to be, take every bit in and pinch yourself. And when you start getting bored of seeing Cena on TV, because I hope he will bore us that much with his presence that you're going to take him for granted. Like, here comes Cena again. And when you catch yourself in that moment, it's like, oh God, what's Cena? Like, hold on, this is ending. This is you let it sink in. And I hope he's going to absolutely overexpose himself, because give us that one moment, one last time, where he's everywhere. I really hope that happens.
If you don't have a Cena shirt, buy it. I was looking for one after the show. I'm like, I presume they're
get the new one. I'm sure there'll be a billion new ones. I'm sure the merch train is going to be full steam ahead.
I was talking with Colin last night when he made that announcement that there will be probably many versions of The Last Time Is Now. and
yeah.
according to where they are in certain, like the MSG shows that'll happen.
Here's,
all
sorry,
that
Chico.
stuff.
Here's an
No, it's
interesting
okay.
speculation. So they did this towel giveaway on SmackDown, right? We all got these WWE towels.
That's the one. Yep.
I wonder if they're doing a test run, and they may have done. They've probably done it before, but I wouldn't be surprised if you saw one of them with the last time.
Yep.
is
I
now.
hope so.
Yep.
Like, have so that when it is the last time, they got these towels out there and everybody's got them. I think
Did that work live, by the way? The whiteout idea they had?
They
Did they even call for it?
They didn't. No, not to my knowledge. No, they didn't.
I guess they realized they were giving it out to all the SmackDown people, but not all of them would necessarily be at.
Some part timer in marketing probably is looking for a new job today, but
Yep. I expect that kind of stuff from AEW. WWE should have this worked out by now. Yeah.
No, I thought the same thing. I'm like, why are they giving it?
And I'm like, I ain't coming here tomorrow.
But I'm not going tomorrow. Yeah, it made like, here guys, here's a towel. Bring it tomorrow. Like, okay, where? Like to the gym? Like what? I don't know. Like, yeah.
Hey,
so
man, but their brand is out there again. Like their brand is way out there with thousands of people.
It could have been promoted better. Like if Michael Cole said this whiteout 3 weeks ago, we get it. Even like not even just the towels, but just wearing white. But also at the same time, if you're gonna announce a whiteout the day before, and 85% of your merch is not white, ain't really gonna work.
I'm wearing a black shirt.
Well, here's the thing. Here's a
just
question.
give the towels out at Money in the Bank. It was
exactly.
Yeah.
On the way
Here's
in, not out.
Yeah, on the way in.
Here's the question though. Is the whiteout thing wasn't that supposed to be a callback to the Winnipeg Jets because they're in Canada and all that sort of stuff? Or is that just too deep of a cut?
Nope. That was my first thought. I presume that was the thought. That was my thought. I presume I'm like they think we're Winnipeg.
That's a hockey
but we're from Toronto, you idiots.
Yeah.
But we can't take back the idea, but here's a free towel, I guess.
Yeah.
It was a good effort. Just execute it.
Hey, I appreciate the free branded goods. I'm good with this.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I spent there's a lot of merch there that was a lot of fun for people who weren't there. My favorite thing they offered all weekend was the blue Money in the Bank case.
Yeah, that was nice.
The Toronto, I really was tempted to grab that.
And I like my pillow in the bank. I like my pillow in the bank though.
The pillow in the bank was fun. My son got one of those. Those are neat. Yeah.
I only got the I Was There shirt. I didn't really want to get anything else, but once I saw Cena's new shirt, I'm like, okay, let me see if I can find a booth real quick. But I was looking at booths, I didn't see it, so I'm like, okay, never mind.
The Austin 316 using the spelling of Austin Matthews was very clever.
I got that one. I actually have to get that one.
Yeah.
There was a little bit more option at the rec room, but not enough white merchandise for you to buy and rock this thing. Because
I just realized this is a white hat, the Money in the Bank Toronto hat.
There you go.
That I'm wearing.
There you go.
I bought the program, but that's what I seem to want to do. I buy programs. I got my WrestleMania now. I got my Money in the Bank. I like them.
Yeah, I used to love getting like WWF, WWE magazine back in the day, man. Like I like that as a souvenir too. I still have some of mine. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. But the rec room was neat. The Money in the Bank store was definitely something to behold. I went there 2 or 3 times, I think, over the course of the weekend, and there was a lot of cool stuff there. But the title replicas, oh my goodness, there were some pretty amazing things.
Yeah, that Blue Jays title was also tempting, but
yeah.
850.
Yeah. Never mind then. Ringside Heat on Newstalk Sauga 960 AM. We have a few more minutes left in the radio side of things. We're gonna take a break right here. We're just gonna do some closing thoughts for the radio and whatever conversation happens afterwards about Money in the Bank. We'll have that over on the podcast side. But we're gonna just end this segment over here. Come back with some final thoughts for the radio. Back after these promotions. We were talking about this off the air. Back after this promotional considerations. welcome back to Ringside Heat on News Talk Sauga 960 AM. Lex Tan at Lex Tan Media, at Ringside Heat at Ringside Heat, Colin Dodge at Risen72, Jose Taboada at Taboada93, John Dawson at John Dawson Music, and Chico at Coco Collects. Final thoughts before we sign off for the radio here today. Colin, Chico had a question for you.
Yeah, so I mean, we were doing the live stream last night, so y'all can get some perspectives from Mr. Dodge and the Cheeks on YouTube, or wherever that is. It's YouTube, right? That whole live stream.
I believe so. Yes. Yeah.
YouTube and
It's
Twitter.
the YouTube. I think it's pronounced. Yeah.
The YouTube, that's right. And then you can find it through our socials too. You know, Ringside Heat. If you want more, don't forget the underscore.
Yeah.
So for Colin, I would like to know. You haven't really watched much WWE in the past, let's say,
Like 2
couple
years?
years. Yeah. What did you think of some of the match quality, some of the stars they were pushing? Sorry, superstars. And the talent they were, you know, like
Match
how was
wrestlers.
all of that for you? Were you surprised by anybody? Like what?
Well, I mean, again, great plan sending in the AEW expert and the TNA expert to cover the WWE pay-per-view is bold. It's real. It's, you know, bold
1-2 punch.
strategy, and I think it worked out for us. So
Yeah.
there's a good little dodgeball reference. But anyway, yeah, I didn't know 3/4 of the people. So thank goodness Chico was there, because I'm like, who's that? Who's that? Do I need to care about this person? Is this person any good? Is Braun better than the other Braun and Wardlow, or is he just another tough guy? You know what I mean? Like, so like it's all those kind of questions that I had. Basically, I'm interviewing Chico for most of it. What was surprising and impressive? Jacob Fatu. He should be the tribal chief. He should retire John Cena in December 2025. Just give him everything. That dude is awesome. He's everything I miss about Umaga, but he's angrier and even scarier, and I love what he's putting out. So
And
yeah,
cut
Jacob
is
Fatu
built.
forever. Yeah, just everything he's doing. I'm going to look up old MLW stuff, and then, you know, never see him again, because I'm trying not to watch these things, but I keep getting talked into it. But yes, Jacob Fatu forever. I hope I read that he continues to do well.
Good show though. Do you like the show?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun show. It'd be better if I could enjoy it properly and if I knew who everybody was. But I mean, Chelsea Green's a standout. I'm a big fan of hers. I'll never see her again, but a big fan of everything she did that night. It was great, bump of the night. But I mean, she had the crowd in her hands, and I was glad to see a Canadian retain. Canada forever. Big thanks to Kevin Owens for being the professional that he is in his trying time right now. But yeah, like good Canadian, strong Canadian showing, good show. The ending made sense to me, and I was just so impressed by Jacob Fatu. Anyway, I didn't care.
Mm-hmm. Chico, quickly, your thoughts on the signing yesterday with Roxy and Trick Williams, Roxanne Perez, rather.
Roxanne Perez. And now the advertising left a little to be desired, because this is a rare thing, but I'm going to shout out Grayson Waller, not my favorite superstar. However, they advertised him for a Square One Walmart appearance on, I believe, Friday, about right before SmackDown. And it was advertised so little that only about 20 people showed up. And that's a main roster tag team champion guy. And then the advertising for Trick Williams and Roxanne Perez's appearance at a Scarborough Walmart, which I went to, wasn't too much better, but they had more people attending. It was hard to find the listing when people wanted to refer to it and share it to people. Shout out to a friend of the show, Janelle Navarro, who featured with us after an old Impact Wrestling taping episode that we did at London, I believe it was.
Yes.
But yeah, Janelle Navarro provided the information to me, and I had time right before work to meet Roxanne and Trick, and pretty good, except that no one about a mile like around Walmart or in it knew anything about what was going on. I did some scouting the day before just to check how it was going to be and if I needed to know any information, just like the fine print of the graphic said. Check your Walmart location if you want to find out any details. No manager, no employee had any clue what wrestling even was. So they're like, what's that? So I had to explain like WWE and like their developmental a little bit, and they were just like, it's deer in the headlights or whatever. Like they were just staring off into something because they knew nothing.
Wow.
Anyway,
Jack-
about 160 people ended up showing up, which was pretty good. It was so nice. I had to go around twice. Plus, they still had wristbands, so I took photos with them. I uploaded a little reel about it, and yeah, it's just fun. It's a free signing. I'll go for it if I have time. And hey, good luck to the NXT champs tonight on Heatwave.
That which is coming up very, very soon. John, final thoughts, real quick.
Great experience. I'm exhausted. It was there's a lot going on. It was a busy couple of days, but yeah, I just enjoyed every bit of it. We had fun. Probably had more fun than everybody else in the press box because we weren't all stuffy and serious. So I don't know if we ticked anybody off, but yeah, it was. I don't know what to tell you. I think as a show, my highlight of the weekend, I will say quickly, DIY going over on SmackDown.
Ooh.
That
Oh, good.
I've been at every major Johnny Gargano moment now in Toronto.
Nice.
From his first win with DIY in NXT to last night. And he was the first. Ciampa and Gargano were the first rivalry that hooked my oldest son on wrestling.
Oh,
So
yeah,
he got this. Yeah, he loved them in NXT. Loved their rivalry. So to see them get the tag belts, that actually is my highlight of the weekend. 100%.
Awesome.
Good for them.
Jose.
They deserve. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. That's it.
Phenomenal weekend. I was happy to able to do 2 of the 3. Really happy for my best friend who went to her first WWE show and she had an absolute blast. She was like so immersed into it. And thank goodness that she was. So that was a lot of fun. Money in the Bank, fun, successful show again. Just nice to go to these things. I think no more WWE for the rest of the year in terms of like going to events.
money.
But just a phenomenal weekend and just happy that we get to experience these kind of things in our city. So fun weekend.
And again, one more time, I just have to thank, well, first of all, thank you to Wazim Huck, friend of the show. Thank you to Vinny Salvador, friend of the show. Shout out to Jeffrey Holman, who I spent the weekend with as well, with Vinny as well, doing WWE stuff as well. Shout out to shout out to Chris Van Vliet, to Chelsea Green, to LA Knight, and to the entire WWE family that had us over and allowed us to experience what it's like to be, press people for WWE. Thank you to Colin and Chico for you guys doing the live stream. Thank you to Jose, who's just been up on the socials and just been a trooper over these past few months with the with digital content. Thank you so much for all that. Thank you to John for stepping in and being so open to everything that happened this weekend. And thank you to everybody that is following us and listening to us. We appreciate everything. And also special shout out to Stephen Hollywood for his kind and generous donation to us and to help us out with Ringside Heat. And we hope to provide you with many more hours of entertainment. And we provide all of you with some great content over here. Follow us on the socials. Follow us on YouTube. Download our Spotify and our podcast version. Listen to us on Sauga 960. It's fun times with wrestling, and we love this business. We love this just talking this wrestling business with you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Lex Tan. Ringside Heat is the show, and you can follow us at Ringside_Heat. We remember the things that you probably forgot.